How's everyone's week going? Mine is great. Mine is terrific, even though, we witnessed a disastrous performance from Tyler Kolek and, quite frankly, the rest of the Knicks team the other day. And not like I'm really impacted by summer league play, especially in the year 2025 with the talent level on this Knicks team. But there are a few guys who, of course, we're all looking to potentially develop into rotational pieces on this team. Up until this point, these guys have not proven themselves. So I'm going to get into that, talk Summer League, specifically Tyler Kolek and how brutal he's been. And a few other things alongside, my thoughts on Bacome Dadier, my thoughts on Ariel Okporti. We're going to get to all of it. And I also want to touch on Jazz Chisholm's performance in the home run derby last night. Talk about brutal, talk about pathetic. That's a bad look for all of us Yankees fans. That's terrible. All right, but let's get started here with some Knicks Summer League action. So this Knicks team, in this last game they played in the Summer League against the Celtics, they just did not play well whatsoever. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Celtics are that much better in terms of their depth, in terms of the Shireman and all these guys, Jordan Walsh. Listen, these are solid pieces. These are solid pieces, but they shouldn't be destroying the Knicks in this game, in this past game on Sunday. Listen, I think that, we can't really overreact. It's the Summer League. These players, the majority of these players will not even come close to sniffing the rotation anytime soon. But as I mentioned earlier, you're looking to these guys to potentially develop into something in a couple of years down the line where you could be like, I trust him in a big moment. I trust him to go out there and potentially, if there's a big injury, I trust him to take the spot of whomever gets injured. I trust him to fill those shoes and play serviceably. And what we've seen specifically from Tyler Kolek is an ineptitude that I don't think any of us expected. The Big East Player of the Year 2 years ago, the Knicks traded up in the second round to get him, being a 23, 24-year-old guy. We thought he'd be a pro-ready player. One of the oldest guys in the draft. Had a significant amount of college experience. Again, the Big East Player of the Year. He comes out and, there was some promise, there was some hope watching Summer League last year. And now this year, I feel like a lot of that hope has gone out the window. Watching Tyler Kolek and seeing his inability, because what we saw, and more specifically in this last game against the Celtics, they picked him up 94 feet. They were face guarding Tyler Kolek. He's the facilitator. He's the guy the Knicks want to have the ball in his hands. And what they did is they put one guy on him, no matter who that is, someone more athletic, someone quicker, someone who could stick to him pretty well, and had them pick Tyler Kolek up 94 feet. And what we saw is it was an inability from Tyler Kolek to create any sort of separation, to get open and to get the ball and to start the offense. And it's something that concerns me because these guys are G League. But some of them will become rotational pieces with the Celtics. They're able to develop guys left and right to become, meaningful parts of their rotation in the NBA, right? I mean, like Jordan Walsh might be that guy. Shireman might be that guy. I don't know. But these are G League and European players. And what the hell do you think is going to happen when you go to the NBA? You think Tyler Kolek is good enough to play rotational minutes on a potential championship team? I'm not trying to sit here and overreact to what I saw. It's July 15th. The Knicks have the third or fourth best odds to win the NBA Finals. I'm trying not to lose my you-know-what, but what we saw from Tyler Kolek has to give everyone a slight amount of pause in thinking maybe this guy's a little bit further off than what we originally expected him to be when the Knicks drafted him. He's a traffic cone on defense. I think he has the yips, shooting-wise. This is someone who throughout college showed an ability to create his own shot, to hit open threes off the dribble, in transition, alongside finding the open man. And he's turned the ball over a lot. He's looked unsure and has been hesitant to try to create his own shot. Didn't end up scoring in this last game against the Celtics until the third quarter. That was when he had his first field goal. He has not looked good. He has not. And again, he's turned the ball over. He shot 1 for 13 from the field in this last game against the Celtics. The same amount of assists as he had turnovers. And that's terrific. Look at that. When you look at that, this computer that I have is atrocious. I don't understand how the hell that happened. My computer just switched Wi-Fi's midstream. I apologize about that. I have no idea how bad this Wi-Fi is. It looks like it's not good, but whatever. We're going to keep going here. And hopefully you didn't just leave. I don't blame you if you did. But I think that Tyler Kolek obviously has a lot of room to improve as in terms of his confidence, in terms of who he is and how sure he is of himself and of his offensive game. You can't teach athleticism. You can't teach size. You can't teach length. And that is something that the Knicks obviously knew when they traded up to get him. And there's a reason why in that spot that he was still available, even though he was pro-ready, even though there's a multitude of teams, especially in this era of the CBA, looking for rookies who can contribute right away. And the Knicks assumed he'd be that guy. And the reason, again, why he fell to the mid-30s to the Knicks is because of his lack of size. I don't think the Knicks had any concerns with his offensive ability to create other shots for his teammates, to occasionally create his own shot with the step-back three, to hit open threes. He shot 30% in the G League this year from three. This past year. And he has not looked much better in the Summer League against the same level of competition, if not worse competition. And it's concerning. And again, this is slightly an overreaction. Try not to lose it. We're talking Summer League for a team that has the third or fourth best odds to win the NBA Finals. This isn't 2018. Watching the future of the Knicks, Kevin Knox, dominate. This is a different era of Knicks basketball. Of course you all know that. We're not living and dying by whomever the Knicks drafted to go out and play well in the summer. This is not that. But as I've mentioned, with the current CBA, and how salary caps, how the first and second apron are constructed, you need to develop your own talent. You need to draft well. You need to get the most out of these guys on rookie deals before, if they're good enough, they get an extension. And then you can't afford that guy. Or if you're lucky enough, you make a deal with a guy like Deuce McBride for absolute pennies on the dollar. So the Knicks desperately need these guys to become rotational pieces. And there are a few other guys that the Knicks have drafted in recent years. Kevin McCullough, who, man, he was good against the Celtics. He was the one bright spot offensively. He shot 10 for 15 from the floor, scored 30 points. And again, I keep mentioning that the Celtics team, it's a summer league team. I get that. But these are all guys who probably will become rotational pieces, especially on a Celtics team that is drastically different from what we've seen over the last 2 or 3 years. A team that has lost Jason Tatum for the entirety of the 2025-26 season. There will be a lot of potential, reps for these guys to get. So these are solid, serviceable backups that will play big minutes for the Celtics this year. And Shireman and Walsh and a couple of other of those guys, but specifically those two. And Kevin McCullough was really freaking good. Was really good. Out of Kansas, suffered injury in his senior year. The Knicks got him at 56th overall. I believe they got Huck Porty at 58. So I'm going to get to Huck Porty. I want to discuss Huck Porty. But Kevin McCullough, really solid player. I'm not trying to sit here and overreact to that as well. You get the positive, you get the negative. And McCullough, he's shown an ability to score the basketball. This is against G League and European talent. 10 for 15 is really good efficiency. 30 points. Can create his own shot. He finishes through contact extremely well. He's a big body. He plays bigger than he is. I'm intrigued by what I saw with him, with Kevin McCullough. It's something to watch. The Knicks have 2 more Summer League games, so it's something to watch. They play Brooklyn tonight at 6 o'clock. That'll be fun. But I'm going to continue to keep an eye out on Kevin McCullough, who could be a potential. We keep talking about it here. CBA is very difficult. It's very difficult to have talent on a year-to-year basis on the bench. It's very difficult to keep depth on a championship-level team. If guys like Kevin McCullough, Ariel Hukporti, Pacome Dadier turn into rotational players, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it for sure will happen. There's a solid chance the Knicks could be hanging their first championship banner in 50-plus years. That's how important it is in today's NBA to develop your own talent. And the Knicks haven't done themselves any favors, and depending on how you look at it, they have done themselves favors in being competitive and being perennial playoff teams. They haven't done themselves any favors in terms of the draft picks that they possess. Of course, as you know, they gave up a king's ransom to the Nets in one of the worst trades in Knicks history for Mikal Bridges. If they tried to flip Mikal Bridges right now, I doubt they'd even be able to get 3 picks. Even less valuable picks than the Knicks. Let's say they wanted to trade him to the Thunder. The Thunder gave up their own picks. Those are less valuable picks than what the Knicks have. You might not even get 3 first-round picks. I digress. But the Knicks do not possess the draft picks in order for them to build their depth. So they have to rely on whomever they've drafted in previous years when they had picks, when they had that first-round pick, where they took Pacome Dadier, where they had the 3 second-round picks, in which they drafted Tyler Kolek, Kevin McCullough, and Ariel Hukporti. These guys need to turn into someone, something. But you have to rely on that to develop those guys. You have to rely on these veterans minimum deals. In this current era, guys are willing, most teams, if they trade for a guy that they don't see any value with, or a guy that's on their roster. You saw what happened with Milwaukee and Damian Lillard 5 years ago. You think Damian Lillard and $120 million or whatever is $150 million they're going to owe him over the next 6 years? If they push back, it's like Bobby Bonilla. You think 5 years ago that would have ever happened? A team would have bought out a guy with that much money left in his deal? No, absolutely not. That's the reality that we currently live in. So guys get bought out. They take pennies on the dollar because they're already making a solid amount of money to go play for a championship contender on the veterans minimum. And if you are a really good team in the league, you are afforded the opportunity to get set veterans minimum players. So the Knicks did that with Jordan Clarkson. It remains to be seen what will happen with Marcus Smart if he gets bought out by the Wizards. There's mutual interest there. That could be massive when you look at how bad Tyler Kolek has been. They got Gershon Yabusele, who I've raved about over the last couple of weeks. I think it's an amazing sign. I think he gives the Knicks a ton of versatility on the offensive end specifically, and with their lineups and the rotations. They got him on the taxpayer mid-level exception. He took Brock Aller's a genius. The way he maneuvers the cap, he's one of the best, if not the best, in the NBA. They got him to take $100,000 less, and in turn, they have not one but 2 veterans minimum spots to fill. They also have to sign someone to the rookie minimum. Will that be James Nash? Time will tell. Will it be Diawara, who he looks good. His size, his length, his burst, he's gonna need a few years to develop. And he'll be in the G League for the Knicks. I think that he's got a lot of potential. But enough about these guys, enough about the general makeup of this Knicks team. I want to talk about Harry Alec-Porter. I don't need to give you stats. I don't need to give you specific plays. What I've seen over the first 2 games of the NBA Summer League is this. It's clear as day that Ariel Hukporti, out of all the young guys that the Knicks are looking to develop, that the Knicks are looking to turn into rotational pieces on this team, he is by far the most pro-ready guy out of all of them. And he's the one I am most comfortable with taking the position of a current rotational player if the Knicks have an injury. And knock on wood that they don't have an injury, but if Mitchell Robinson goes down, and knock on wood again, if Karl-Anthony Towns goes down with an injury, I'm confident that Ariel Hukporti can come in and be more than serviceable. He's athletic as hell. He roams the paint extremely well. He sets better screens and better at the pick and roll than Karl-Anthony Towns. That's not saying much. It's not a high bar to clear, but he's better. And he just looks more comfortable on the court. He looked like an NBA player. And maybe not a guy you could slot in right now and say he'll get minutes with the current makeup of this team. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying he could play big minutes if his number needs to be called upon. I'm extremely confident in saying that. And I'm interested to see if his confidence picks up and improves even more over the next 2 Summer League games for the Knicks. I'm excited to watch his development. I'm excited to watch his improvement. I think that there's some room for offensive growth. And I think there's some room for defensive growth as well. Like, he's quick. He can get out to the perimeter. He can close out quick. He can defend the paint. The potential, there's untapped potential with Diawara and Bakomdadi. I think there's potential there with Ariel Hukporti as well, but do I see him turning into a Isaiah Hartenstein? Probably not. But do I think he could be a solid piece, a solid backup to whomever on the Knicks? Yeah. I do. I definitely do. And I'm confident. I'm confident in saying this, and I'll back it up. I'll die on this hill. And in a few months, we'll return to it. We'll revisit my take here. And I'm going to be able to sit here and tell you, hey, I told you so. I told you so. I don't think it's also saying much that he's the most pro-ready guy. If you watch Bakomdadi, he didn't do anything in that first game of the Summer League against the Pistons until the last few minutes of the game. He shows bursts of that potential that obviously the Knicks saw in him, drafting him in the mid-20s of last year's draft. He's got the size. He's got the length. He's got the shot. He didn't shoot well in the G League last year. Low 30s from 3. Wasn't much better in the limited minutes that he got in the NBA. But Bakomdadi, he's got potential. I know people have been saying it. It looks like he's grown a little more comfortable shooting the 3, taking the ball to the basket, using his size to finish through contact. Is not inept on the glass, offensive and defensive, which as a wing is As a wing, the ability to rebound is extremely undervalued in the NBA. Having a wing that could look at Josh Hart. And I understand that Josh Hart's 6'4", he's a wing though. And I understand there's no one quite like him, maybe in NBA history. But think about how valuable he is to the Knicks because of his ability to rebound. I'm not going to sit here again and tell you that Bacon Dadier has any sort of ability like Josh Hart can to rebound the basketball. I'm not. But if he can rebound the ball, you're comfortable playing small. It opens up a lot of possibilities on the offensive and defensive end. And with Mystics, what's up, bro? Yeah, I mean, for the most part, definitely Tyler Kolek more than anyone else. If you missed my rant about Tyler Kolek, just scroll back after I'm done here, around the first 10 or 15 minutes. Outside Huck Porty, I don't think these guys are getting minutes. But yeah, I mean, I don't even think Huck Porty will get minutes. With the makeup of this current roster, with Mitch, I don't know what Mitch is going to be on this team, whether it be a starter or a bench guy. I see him, no matter what, playing around 20 to 25 minutes a game. I don't think it's worth it to play the guy 30-plus minutes a game unless you desperately need him. You need his rebounding. You need his offensive, offensive rebound. Specifically, you need his paint protection. In that case, he's going to see a lot more minutes in situational games. But I don't think Porty gets that many minutes. But again, if an injury happens, I am the most comfortable with him playing minutes over any other of the young Knicks. I don't think. Definitely not. I believe Knicks Twitter hypes up everyone. You see a lot of interest in Tyler Kolek. A lot of the stuff that CP the Franchise and Knicks Fan TV put out gets a lot of clicks. People are interested in Tyler Kolek. People were very upset and disappointed in Tom Thibodeau for barely playing Tyler Kolek, whom they believed was better than Campaign. I feel like Tom Thibodeau has been vindicated in not playing Tyler Kolek based on. I'm not trying to overreact here. I'm not trying to sit and tell you that he can be better, that he may not, that he definitely won't take a step up in the G League, that he may not play well whenever his name is called upon, his number is called upon in the NBA. I'm not sitting here to tell you this. I don't know for sure. But I bet you somewhere, someplace, Tom Thibodeau is sitting there with margarita in his hands on the beach, laughing at all of Knicks Twitter for how much they could play and that Tyler Kolek never played. It's not that good. That is, NBA peak is probably slasher and three-point shooter with defense. If he could be 70% of what OG is, I'd say it's a success. I'd even say 60%. All you need him to be is a rotational guy. You could play 10 to 15 minutes. He can provide you solid defense. In defensive lineups, if you trust him more than Josh Hart, you could slot in there. With his size, the Knicks defensive lineup includes Deuce. It includes McHale. It includes OG. It includes Mitch. And Mitch, I'm missing someone here. You catch my drift, though. He could be a solid piece in that defensive lineup, and he also could be a solid piece just in general for the Knicks, especially if he could become extremely adept at shooting the three. All right, that'll do it. I've got a few minutes here until I have work. But just wanted to comment on this. Also, Jazz Chisholm sucked last night. What a disaster that was. Couldn't say I wasn't expecting that. I expected him to hit at least 5 to 10. Not a power guy. It's clear why the MLB brass and MLB put him in there. They want to grow the game. They want to put in a charismatic guy. It's why they put him on the cover of MLB The Show a few years ago. That was idiotic. They're trying to grow him. They're trying to groom him as one of the next big things in MLB, but that's what you get when you throw a guy in there who's barely has any power. Bad luck. Bad luck for the Yankees. Everyone was rightfully able to clown us. But that'll do it for today. Again, and scroll back if you missed anything. I really went at Tyler Kolek and Knicks fans who have believed in him in the past. I believe the dream that he could be a solid piece for the Knicks within the next year or so is dead. That dream is dead. I'm not saying you can't have any hope, but right now it's very difficult to have any. So I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Stay tuned for One Giant Step coming out tomorrow night or Thursday morning. That'll be a fun one with Sean Morash. plenty to get into. I know it's still the offseason, training camp, just a few weeks away. NFL season around the corner, in less than 2 months. All right, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll talk to you all soon. Peace out.